sun under my favorite tree. It feels so good. Life is about to get crazy, so I wanted to catch you up on what's been going down. Story time, here we go. Okay, join me for story time under my favorite magnolia tree. We call her great-grandmother. I was actually sitting under her when I found out my Lola, my grandma, passed away. I don't know, she just has a really calming presence. I love sitting here, so I figured what other time is best to catch you all up than sitting under this beautiful lady. A year ago right now, I submitted myself to a part-time hospitalization program at the Center for Discovery in Los Angeles, California, to treat my eating disorder that had started back in 2015, a whole decade ago. Crazy. It's called PHP. I went to a PHP program from September through December, and I was on a paid medical leave from my employer. And then in November, my husband found out that we were going to be relocated with his job to Cleveland, Ohio. My company was so kind, even though I'd been on leave, they were still willing to transfer me. And so I stepped down to an intensive outpatient program, an IOP program, to gear up for the move and prepare myself for what a full-time job would look like. When I got here, my company moved me from an office-based role to our warehouse-based position, which required me to be on my feet for sometimes like 5 to 6 hours a day, running around, making sure the operation was running well, managing our team of packers who were packing our boxes. I work for an industrial supplies company, so it's quite a big operation. And I wasn't ready for the flexibility that that type of work environment demanded of my eating schedule. After a decade of having different forms of eating disorders, and then only having gone to therapy to treat it for 4 months, when I was put back into a stressful situation in January of 2025 this year, I immediately started falling back on old stress management tools that had kept me feeling safe during my eating disorder. And so January, February, March comes, and by the time March comes around and I'm working, I'm realizing, you know, I don't think I'm gonna be able to shake these thoughts and these habits that I'm noticing come again. So I went back to a part-time hospitalization program, this time through the Emily program in Cleveland, Ohio. And I was there in the part-time hospitalization PHP from April, May, June, July, and then I just recently stepped down to intensive outpatient and am stepping into just outpatient. And then I'll be going back to work. Then I go back to work. October 6th is the end of my outpatient program. So I have 2 months right now, until 2 months from today, until I have to go back to work. And I'm really scared. I'm really scared to put myself back into an environment. It's not that the work environment is bad at all. It's just I learned coping skills as a teenager to hide my emotions and not feel my emotions, to ensure that I was always performing at an extremely high level. And I have to now unteach myself 10 years of that same thought process. So here's my new thought processes from my now almost 1 year of therapy. And I'm trying to get these new thought processes to be louder than the old thought processes. And it's really hard. And I'm nervous, but something that I've learned about myself, it's simple, but it's not easy to switch from one form of thinking to the next but our brains are designed to do this. Neuroplasticity is our brain's ability to create new neurological connections. I believe in myself. I know I can do it. And something that I've recently really just had an epiphany with is that either I need to self-prescribe myself time outside like this, where I'm touching the earth and I'm allowing myself to be present, observing, describing, participating in the moment of nature, or I'm gonna have to talk to my doctor, my psychiatrist, about getting on a medication to help with my anxiety, because it's either I give myself the space and time to do this to bring down my anxiety, or I'm gonna need those other tools. I've been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder as well as the eating disorder. My therapist gave me these last 2 months to say, okay, Allie, see if you can regulate your nervous system and bring down your anxiety naturally without talking to a psychiatrist about additional medication. And something about people who have eating disorders is it's a neurodivergence that creates the environment for an eating disorder to arise in your mind. And it's a neurodivergence that's in the same track as autism and OCD. And so my therapist said, Allie, I'll give you 2 months. If you can figure out how to use the skills that we've been practicing in therapy every day to bring down your baseline anxiety, then you figured it out. You figured out how to help yourself. If you're still struggling with bringing down your baseline anxiety after 2 months, then it's time to let's talk to a psychiatrist and let's see if you would benefit from an anxiety medication, a supplement, because my brain isn't giving me what I need. So here I am. I just finished my 2 months. So I'm 2 months away from going back to work, and you're gonna watch my life change drastically in these next 2 months. Because I've been on medical leave since April to heal my mind and my body from something that was bringing me down a road that only led to death. Now I'm currently in an intensive outpatient program that it has a lot less care, and we did this intentionally to give myself as much exposure as possible before I go back to work in October. So ever since starting to post on social media regularly, I have been on medical leave, and my life is about to change drastically in 2 months. I guess I wanted to talk about that today because I wanted to name that I've been in this la-la land of getting to really focus on healing my mind from a decade of thought patterns that I had adapted to using to try to save myself, but instead they were killing me. And now I'm trying to bring in these new thought patterns into my life, and I feel like I have a timeline. It feels like I have 2 months, and I've been putting all this pressure on myself to figure out and feel fully healed and feel fully recovered. And while yes, the eating disorder isn't with me, all those thought processes, those pathways are still so strong. I've been choosing those pathways of thought for the last 10 years of my life, and I've just been putting a lot of pressure on myself. So I think my lesson of the day is I need to stop putting that pressure on myself and start with self-compassion and start with knowing that this is a lifelong journey to wellness. This is a lifelong journey to wellness. I'm not going to heal overnight. I might not be fully healed by October, but I'm taking you guys along for the ride. Peace and love, humans.
Good job waiting for me.